We'll discuss about projects and strategy. Projects are a means of organizing activities that cannot be addressed within the organization's normal operational limits. Projects are therefore utilized as a means of achieving an organization's strategic plan, whether the project team is employed by the organization or contracted service provider. So this is, for example, you come up with the strategy, you come up with the mission vision statement, and then from the mission statement you come up with the set of objectives. From the objectives you get into the programs. From the programs you get into the projects. So basically you are trying to meet the objectives of the organization through executing several temporary projects, or even it could be executing the vision of the company through several smaller projects which are grouped together as a program. Program is kind of projects which have a common objective, which does a mission for the organization. So basically if you have the strategy, from strategy you get into the projects. That is one way of getting a project. Another way is you have the legal requirements, statutory requirements. From there will be a deadline. For example, year 2000 Y2K projects, so they need to complete before 2000, year 2000. They need to change the date fields in the several visa files, several databases, things like that. So there normally the year field is shown as in 2 digits. After 99 you get 00. The computer thinks 00 as 1900. So you need to hard code in each of the program to say, okay, if the year is less than 20, then say append year 20 before that, so that it becomes 2000. So again in the year 2020 or 2040, again they have to go back and change the program so that it again works for the subsequent year. So basically you solve the year 2000 by pushing the problem to another 20 years, 40 years. So this is kind of a legal requirement. You do this because you need to have a compliance system in year 2000. Similarly, there are many banking compliances. Basel II is there. In insurance you have the HIPAA compliance. Various regulatory, they require you to comply to certain norms, standards and files and things like that. Also, let's say you take the GST, which the government of India is trying to implement. So there would be many people who are trying to implement GST in their finance so that they have one common tax system. Instead of having your VAT, service tax, service value added service tax and things like that, you integrate everything into GST. So they need to understand GST and then implement GST in their financial systems. So that is driven, it's a statutory requirement. Another one is from the operations you may get projects. For example, you have a lot of problems, issues with the customer. So that from there you come up with the new solution and then implement the solution. So that it gets implemented as a project. Suppose you have a lot of defects, backlogs, you want to fix up the problem, then you come up with the new small enhancements. It creates a small projects. So projects are sourced from different entities. It could be strategy, it could be legal requirement, it could be operations. See some of the things which has a strategic considerations. A market demand. An oil company authorizes a project to build a new refinery in response to chronic gasoline shortages. A business need. A training company authorizes to create new course in order to increase its revenue. Say you see a business need, a customer requirement. It could be customer request. customer utility authorizes a project to build a new substation to serve a new industrial park. A technological advance. Electronics firm authorizes new project to develop new generation of video game player after the introduction of corresponding new game format. Suppose something new comes up, a technological advance, for example 4G has come, so people start building some applications which works only in 4G. For example, Geo, they say the SIM, it works only 4G compliant machines. It could be other applications. You build new application, secure applications which might work in 4G technology or in a 5G technology. Once a new technological advancement comes in, then many people have to upgrade their systems, improve their IT systems or applications. Also a legal requirement, as we said, statutory requirement, legal requirement. So the paint manufacturer has to handle the toxic material. For example, in hospitals, there is a requirement they should not dispose their toxic waste. They should have a toxic waste treatment, right? So that will also have a requirement for a project in an hospital. So, as I said, strategy, you come up with a strategy, you have a set of objectives. From objectives, then you have the programs. From programs, you go and get into the projects. The projects, you execute the projects.
With this, I conclude the introduction to project management section. In the next section, we will discuss about project strategy and project selection.